continue to run in the primaries, even if there are none. And now for my second announcement.
Oh, a classic. Chevy Chase helped put Saturday Night Live on the map with his impression of President Gerald Ford. But that portrayal of Ford as a klutz may have been off base.
The 38th president was actually an accomplished athlete. He played football for the University of Michigan and turned down 2 NFL contract offers. Ford may have been the most athletic of all the presidents. How do we know? A new book, Jocks-in-Chief, ranks all 43 commanders-in-chief on their athletic achievements. And its author, Jon Finkel, is here to tell us more. John, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you.
You actually came up with something you called the President Athlete Score?
I did, yeah.
How did you come up with that?
Well, I figured we had to have common ground, an objective way to measure our presidents and something that people wouldn't argue about. So what I wanted to come up with was like a sabermetrics Moneyball style measurement of the presidents. And so, yeah, here's the categories that I measure them in.
Executive power, ways and means. I love that.
Yeah, so anyway, each guy got a ranking of 1 to 5 in each of these categories. Yeah. And so I wanted to have real achievements to measure them by. So that's how I came up with it. And I thought if I could do it this way, then people can have conversations that are relatable. Like, you look at a president in the Oval Office and you don't really see what his day-to-day is like. But if Obama's shooting hoops, I know what a foul shot's like, and I can kind of judge myself by that.
All right, we're going to talk about him in a moment. But besides President Ford, who else was near the top of your list?
Well, you've got Eisenhower. Eisenhower, a lot of people don't know, was a really great linebacker at West Point. He also was a part of an undefeated baseball team in high school, and he was a center fielder. He also had a really cool nickname, which I don't want to leave out. He was called the Kansas Cyclone. And they gave him that, a reporter gave him that after watching him make a bunch of tackles in a West Point game.
Yeah. And we also see there George Washington. That surprised me. Wow.
Yeah, Washington has some really great sort of anecdotal stories about his size and strength. He was 6'2", big, robust guy. He was known as the best horse rider in the colonies, which, when I weighted each era, there wasn't Little League for George Washington.
Right.
So I had I had to count horse riding as something that was an athletic achievement. But he has some cool trash-talking stories. There's a story where he was doing something called throwing the pitch, which is basically a heavy javelin, and all his young recruits were out there, throwing a javelin. He walked out. And basically, the old general just threw it double their distance and said, when you beat me, come back and talk to me.
Wow. So who's at the bottom of the list?
Andrew Johnson in his bottom, both popularity-wise and athletic-wise.
Boy.
Why?
He didn't really do anything. He was a tailor. Basically, his biggest accomplishment is probably making uniforms rather than actually wearing uniforms. So, that's one of the things. And then
another blow to poor old Andrew Johnson.
Yeah, exactly. There's some other guys. Calvin Coolidge is below the bottom of the list. For him, I was trying to really scrape the bottom of the barrel of athletic achievement. And for him, fly fishing. So wading in water was essentially an athletic achievement.
You got points for that.
Yeah, for Coolidge.
Wow. Okay. What about our current president, President Obama?
Obama is number 10. He gets a lot of credit for playing pickup hoops, as we remember during the campaign. Even now, it seems like he always has time to play basketball. He works out. He stays in shape. I had to ding him a little bit for some of his first pitches and some of his bowling. But overall, for staying in shape and exercising, he got in the top 10.
Candidate's going to have to pay more attention to that first pitch now because their score is going to be affected. Or how about our 2 potential candidates here in Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton?
Well, Donald Trump was an exceptional athlete at the New York Military Academy, played a bunch of sports, so he's robust and he looks like he's pretty athletic and was at least in his youth. Hillary, I don't know so much other than she likes to walk and says she does yoga, but one of the metrics is about their actual athletic ability in office. So if she takes up CrossFit as president, maybe she can climb up the list.
Okay, we'll look for that. Jon Finkel, thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Really interesting.